Part 2, Chapter 2, Ethical and Legal Issues. Objectives. Discuss the emotional adjustments a resident may experience. Describe nurse aide's role in promoting, protecting residents' rights. Review the different types of abuse. Ethics is the knowledge of right and wrong and helps guide our conduct. In healthcare, ethics guide us in taking care of others. Facility policies and procedures will be based on ethical principles. As humans, we do make mistakes. Report mistakes to help the team develop a plan to prevent the mistake from happening again. If you made a mistake, chances are others have too. All staff are to treat residents with respect and empathy. Sometimes residents want to show their appreciation and want to offer you a gift. Staff are not to accept gifts unless given permission from administration. If a resident insists that staff accept a gift, take the gift to your charge nurse, the director of nursing, or administrator. OBRA has helped improve the quality of care in nursing facilities. CNAs are now required to take at least a 75-hour training course. Some states require 120 hours to 150 hours. These programs may include additional training for acute care. Developmental tasks of the elderly. Erickson was a famous psychologist who had a theory that every human goes through different crises in their lifetime. Typical residents in a long-term care facility may be analyzing their life. Was my life full of accomplishments? Or do I fear that my life was unproductive, hopeless? Residents will contemplate fears such as death and perhaps regrets. Offer them emotional support if possible, or notify the social worker or nurse to help them through their despair and regrets. Here are 5 possible ideas that may give a resident a good quality of life. Despite chronic ongoing illnesses, healthcare professionals will continue to keep the resident as healthy as possible by promoting healthy meals and activities, as well as offering ways to prevent illness, such as flu vaccinations. All residents continue to have medical care by a healthcare provider, with some providers that come to the facility to see their patients. Nursing staff, including CNAs, provide care to meet physical and emotional needs, but offer only the amount of assistance needed to help promote as much independence for the resident. Making a resident feel dependent will generally cause them depression. Always ask, how much are you able to do for yourself before helping or assisting someone? Unlike acute care settings, staff at a long-term care facility get to know the people they serve. Resident-centered care consists of personal touches that allow residents to have the type of care that they want. By learning what a resident likes and dislikes, we can help develop a better quality relationship with the resident. What does the effect of aging look like? Thin skin that is easily torn and discolored, bones that may become more brittle, perhaps from osteoporosis, muscles that become atrophied, shrunken. Nervous system consists of our brain and the nerves that send the impulses to our brain. It is never normal to see dementia in an older person. Digestion takes longer as the body slows down due to inactivity or just because our body becomes wore out. Heart disease is very common in the elderly and may cause swelling and discoloration of the extremities. Lung function may decrease, and that may cause the elderly to take longer to complete an activity and complain of shortness of breath. Have you ever thought about what emotional adjustments you would have to make if you needed to live in a long-term care facility? Would these examples be some of the emotions you would go through? How could staff help you cope with the changes? Every human has a variety of basic care needs, such as having enough food, water, clothing, and shelter to sustain their life. We all need to feel an emotional sense of being loved and accepted. Spiritual needs doesn't always mean religious. It may be a sense of belief that leaves them peaceful. Perhaps going on a hike is a spiritual experience for some. Here is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow was a psychologist that identified human needs. At the base of the pyramid, he identified that all humans must meet their physical needs before they concern themselves of the safety, security needs. An individual can progress up the pyramid, but most individuals do not find self-actualization, in other words, realizing their own potential. The residents that live in long-term care facilities may possess certain characteristics. Some may have physical challenges, such as restricted movement because of arthritis or a past stroke. Other residents may be mentally challenged due to an illness or disease, causing memory loss or decrease in understanding communication. Those who are terminally ill, meaning they are expected to die in 6 months or less, may be very tired and sleep for periods of time or still participate in normal activities. Residents' rights. This includes how people who live in a healthcare facility must be treated. These rights are given to all residents prior to their admission. All healthcare employees must support and respect resident rights, as this is the law. Take time to review all the resident rights, and how can a CNA help promote quality of life? CNAs can do this by providing dignity, offering choices, and giving as much independence in a resident's ADLs as possible. Residents have the right to a quality of life, services and activities, informed consent about rights and services, the right to participate in their own care, and make independent choices. Preventing abuse and neglect are extremely important when working in a healthcare facility. DIA will be ensuring that nursing facilities are a safe place for residents to live and will be carefully monitoring employees as they are in a facility. They will also respond to suspected reports of abuse in the facility. Because CNAs are mandatory reporters, anytime you suspect abuse in or out of the facility, you are required by law to speak up and report it. If working in a healthcare facility, you would report it to your charge nurse, DON, or administrator. They investigate your claim, and if they determine that there is probable cause of abuse, they will report the claim to the DIA. If they do not report it and you still believe it is abuse, then you can notify the DIA yourself. Here are different categories of abuse. These categories can occur between staff and a resident. Resident and resident, which is a resident-to-resident altercation, or family and resident. Verbal is anything that is spoken. Physical occurs when someone is touched or hurt. Sexual abuse can happen if sex occurs or if a resident is touched inappropriately, even if it is consensual. Financial occurs when a loss of money occurs. Involuntary isolation means a resident is left in a room by themselves unwillingly and they cannot remove themselves. Neglect is not giving needed care to an individual and can be as simple as not cleaning or clipping fingernails. The newest addition is degradation, signed into law in April 2017. This means that it is unlawful for anyone to knowingly and willfully take, transmit, or display a photo image that degrades the dignity of a dependent adult. Also, it is unlawful for staff or caretakers to shame, degrade, humiliate, or harm a dependent adult's personal dignity. If you suspect something, report immediately to your supervisor or through the chain of command. Once abuse occurs, a facility has just 2 hours to report it to DIA. HIPAA was passed in 1996 to help protect the privacy of patients' health information. Healthcare professionals in long-term care also must abide by HIPAA, and yearly training is conducted to help protect residents' privacy. As a CNA, you will have the right to know certain things about your resident, but not everything. Anything you know about your resident's personal health needs to remain confidential. The rule of thumb is to keep work at work and not take it home. Never tell anyone any information unless you have been given special permission by your supervisor. Be very careful how you talk about your day, especially on social media. HIPAA stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Our final slide is on advance directives. Advance directives are legal documents that allow people to decide what kind of medical care they wish to have if they are unable to make those decisions themselves. Living wills are one type of advance directive. The living will states the medical care a person wants or does not want in case they are unable to speak for themselves. A durable power of attorney for health care allows another person to make medical decisions for someone who is unable to make those decisions themselves.